you learn so much from those players in those moves. We're talking about slowing the game down, we're talking about sitting in times, we're talking about, like being able to know when you got to sit and defend, when you go for it, and when you press, and when you, all those little dark arts some people call it. That comes with wisdom and years of experience, especially away in Europe. Because away in Europe is the hardest place to play. It's where you really learn the most. Premier League, you do that every week and learn quite quickly. When you first start playing European games, it really is difficult. There's so many variables. You talk about the referee, different types of grass, different temperatures, climate, different types of planning, all those things fall into that mix. Can you cope? I didn't see the Chelsea game a lot. I can't analyse it. I saw them out with Caravan. Yeah. And it was a bit all over, like her 1 minute, then they're on the back foot, then they're on the front foot, and that's just what you get with the people. Well, I wonder if they go bring a young player. Well, he'll obviously be increasing the point of view. You trust that last week. You're like, but I don't think we can Chelsea. I think they're still next round, which is the West Ham. They get through a qualifying game, they get their they get 2 wins, they get themselves into the automatic spots. It's about games like Leeds, which is where they've got to be able to manage themselves. There's more experienced players who have looked at the game, looked at the intensity, the velocity, will be like in a fixture there, this next fixture there, and try to negate the temperature rise that people according to that game. It was the intensity that Chelsea did. Well, it's also, definitely great. Yeah, you're right. After those 2 amazing performances against Arsenal and Barcelona, still got actually exactly the ball you made show with it. When you walk on the pitch, you don't look sensational. You kind of want to fix things more. Just also you got the ability of people to expect like that. Yeah, just the game for us to be intensity.
assured us that young people want harmful content addressed rather than buried.
There was also a real concern, particularly with parents, that if people can't see the problem of behaviour online, they won't be able to see the problem of behaviour in the real world. What they really wanted was more education, more advice.
Under 16s, Australia has been blocked from using apps like Snapchat. The Conservative leader has not ruled out teaming up with Nigel Farage at the next election, but says the Conservative agenda is the best option. Kelly Badenoch was asked about working with Reform Party.
I will guarantee that I will do right by the British people. But the best option is the agenda that the Conservatives have. Reform have a slightly different agenda. They say things, but they don't really understand. They don't do the work. They want more benefits. They're telling everybody everything.
Figures suggest Indian parents in the UK could be using abortions to avoid having girls. A spokesperson for the Department of Health said the gender ratio of those abortions suggests sex-selective abortions were taking place, which is illegal. The Chancellor's confirmed the Treasury's reviewing security after budget leaks. Rachel Reeves has told MPs there were too many and says we cannot allow this to happen again.
Professional grade students that offers technologically advanced performance choose Rustic Pro Series.
Florist lost control back to Liverpool and Xabi Alonso faces the savage Man City.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal are the only team left with a 100% record in the Champions League. 17
I
Yeah.
think they go there and win it.
I think they got elements.
They've got the problems Real Madrid behind the scenes, and I do believe it could be City's night. What about the Championship? Where are you taking us there then, man?
Yeah, I mean, Coventry drew away at Preston last night, which, if you look at the table, 500 not a bad point, but Preston played a lot of time, I think, with a man down. Middlesbrough keep the pressure on with a good win away at Charlton. There's a few interesting ones tonight, lads. Leicester and Ipswich both in action. Leicester go to Bristol City. They've been a bit on and off, but I do think the cream will rise to the top. I think they go to Bristol and win. And Ipswich versus Stoke, super close to the table, but I think since Kieran McKenna's been sort of settled in that job and not moving to be going here, there and everywhere, I think Ipswich they could be good as well. And another one, Millwall gets absolutely out of the sort of bottom 6-7 last year. They're having a hell of a season, third in the table, only 5 points behind Borough. They win tonight at Derby, they're only 2 points behind Borough. We could be having Millwall in the Premier League from the end of the season. I do fancy Leicester, Ipswich and Millwall all to win at 13-1.
When you mentioned Millwall and Premier League, Simon. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus, be gamble aware. Zatar.
It's showtime on Fox Sports with BetMGM. Get things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18 plus, gamblingaware.org.
With Danny sitting here, it springs to mind what happened to Mark Keelan the other day. The question arises, are people too easily offended by partisan punditry? Not for the first time this week. Our great friend Martin Keown has had to defend himself from critics who claim he had a bias towards Arsenal at the weekend, not helped by Martin beating Odegaard as man of the match during the Gunners' defeat to Villa on Saturday. That was a decision that was even questioned by Villa fan Prince William on social media. So, I mean, on Martin and punditry and being partisan or otherwise, I mean, is he?
Whenever I listen to former players closely associated, obviously, with those clubs, maybe carrying, I wrestle with the thought that this sounds pretty biased. I don't think you can change that perception. You can't. Look, people are going to say that I've got that Arsenal hat on. People knowing me associate me with successes at Arsenal, not necessarily the Villa fan. Paul Scholes probably wasn't even born when I played for us, so he doesn't actually know about what both counts.
That says that you're up.
No, that says that, look, I'm trying to be balanced, and in a professional sense, I'm working hard to do that. But look, the end of the game was such a melee. Prince William is getting involved, suggesting that he should have been waiting. My is not even on the pitch when I actually made the announcement for Man of the Match. And by the way, at that stage, statistically, Odegaard was probably debated the best player on the pitch.
I mean, I kind of get that, Danny, isn't it? A school commentator, they say, all right, Martin, in a couple of minutes we want your man of the match. When he hadn't even come on the pitch at that stage. He makes it, he gives it to Odegaard, and then what do you know, when he comes on, scores a winner. So Martin's going to get flagged. But it's hard to remain unbiased. Are you unbiased?
I don't think you can be completely honest when you have it's passion for the club. You spent so many years and your life and your success. It's nearly. But I, like many others, I think I've always tried to be as fair as I can, as objective as I can.
Chelsea fans were questioning that last week.
Because I criticised them, because I'm trying to hide their mistake.
And I think
That's
you
just
felt, even when you talk about Chelsea, you're wearing a Liverpool hat.
No, I don't think I do that. I don't think I do that at all. I think at the time I always just say that Roy Walker. I think some pundits are more obviously biased. You see that a little bit with, say, Gary Neville and Carragher, Liverpool United game, but that's part of the theatre. I think people watch it. Some people enjoy that.
Do you think Martin's biased towards Arsenal?
I think he can be at times. Yeah, I think he finds it really difficult to go to Arsenal or see them in the same way. And I think it comes from a self-protection mode, because what you don't want to do is turn the fan base who like you and idolise you against you. So I think Martin is on occasion, but generally not. I think Martin takes great pride in his work. I work with him. I know he studies the game hard. He watches a lot of games and tries to be fair, but he inevitably falls into the trap. Yeah, I mean, you gave me a good example when he was on the last 11 when Harry Kane. You know, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
I can forgive instantaneous lack of impartiality. It's the considered impartiality that people struggle with. When you're sitting in the studio, when you're commenting on a football match, you're dealing with the here and now, where your bias will be towards the football club that you've got allegiance to. You can't help it, you're a human being. So you allow that into the thinking. People can be intemperate if they want. It's the considered lack of impartiality. When you're sitting in a studio and you're refusing to see things as they really are, and you're refusing to see the faults of a particular argument, a fault in a particular situation, whether it's Arteta, whether it's a player, and that's the impartiality that I think I take exception to. The lack of impartiality that managers the game. Guys have got emotional leanings, and we know them. We know who they support. We know who they play for. We grow up expecting human beings to be human beings, but when you're sat in a studio, there's no emotion attached or no instantaneous response required. That's the impartiality or lack of impartiality that I see. And don't forgive.
I did a piece recently on, I think it was both of them games. We were sitting on down the left-hand side, side to side. They were just killing them. And it was so obvious and so blatant. I can't hide behind that and not do it. It's the problem area of the game.
Right, yeah, I get
So
that.
you have to just see what it's a game of football. Forget what colour shirts they are. Here's how they completely dominate Liverpool.
But when you're working on a Liverpool game, can you forget about the colour of the shirt?
For most of it, but as Simon said, there's moments where you'll fall into. So, for example, I'll give you an example. The refereeing decisions last night, I wasn't doing the game, but I would have. So Shearer actually said the same opinions I had. He's a Newcastle guy, so it's just him seeing it objectively.
Right.
But if I'd have gone down the line he did, it probably would have been interpreted as me having a bias. And maybe there is a bias there in my opinion. I don't know, but it's a hard one to judge yourself.
No, I get it. I mean, a lack of impartiality when it comes to the PFA now.
No, I've got experiential basis for my distaste.
You're quite biased though. Whenever the PFA is
Biased.
mentioned,
I think
you're against them.
I don't think there's anything you've ever given me that gives me any other reason to not be. Everything that the PFA produces outcomes that don't support the players they should support, pipe up on the indefensible, and to constantly tell people what they won't do. I don't think there's an argument for me to say, well, that's good thinking. You give me a case where I can turn around and say, well done to the PFA, and if I don't say it, then call me biased.
But a lot of it's based on your dealings with the PFA from years ago.
Have we ever presented an argument?
So you don't forget that when you talk about them now.
Because it's exponential.
So you've got an agenda.
No, I haven't got an agenda. I've yet to be confronted with a situation where I've been able to congratulate the PFA and refuse to do it. You've never sat in the studio and said to me, well, actually, this is an initiative by the PFA, and I've gone, well, so what? Because they haven't done anything.
Have you got an agenda against agents?
Yeah, because I think they're an unnecessary evil that serves no greater good.
Yeah, so you've got a bias.
Yeah, well, I've got a distaste. Is it a bias? I've got a preconceived opinion of agents, yeah. I've seen lots of bad ones. I've seen very few good.
Okay. Martin Kieran still coming in for it. Poor old Martin. We're live in Talk Sport. Wednesday morning, not much of it left. Courtesy of Selco, where the trade goes.
Looking for an app to hear all of your favorite music, news, sports, and more? We've got all of your audio all in one place, right here on TuneIn. Play your favorite stations like ESPN Radio, The Daily,
I'm Sabrina Cavernisi, and this is The Daily from inside Democratic National Convention Hall.
and so much more. Whatever you love listening to, you can hear it all on TuneIn.
Call something classic, you got to mean it. And that's why when we say TuneIn's exclusive classic hip-hop station is the real deal, we mean it. From golden age gems from OGs like Tupac and Biggie, to chart-topping bangers from the biggest artists of all time, like Jay-Z and DMX. There's a little something for every hip-hop fan on this station. Ready to find your flow? Just search classic hip-hop
Or tell your device to play classic hip-hop on TuneIn to listen.
Paddy Power's Take a Break tool to pause your account. Paddy Power.
18 plus, I can't remember.
Merry Christmas, my love. Merry Christmas, Mom.
Merry Christmas, Nanny.
From the UK's first mobile phone call to the first text, we've been connecting you at Christmas since 1984 on Vodafone, the nation's network. The Nations Network, Vodafone UK, supporting the nation since 1984. Learn more at vodafone.co.uk/TNN.
At Morrison's, our Christmas centerpieces are better than half price. Pick up a British beef joint for £6.49 per kilo, a whole leg of lamb for £7.50 per kilo, or British pork loin for £3.75 per kilo. Morrison's, making more of Christmas. Majority of stores online excludes Morrison's Daily. Max 4 in store, 2 online, was £8 to £19 per kilo, ends 24th of December.
1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer, but all too often they find out by complete chance too late. It should be this way. With no early warning signs and no national screening program, we need your support. A donation to Prostate Cancer UK will help fund the research that will improve the odds of catching prostate cancer earlier, saving thousands of lives. It's about time men's lives weren't left to chance. Visit prostatecanceruk.org/give.
Ready to switch your play? LiveScore Vegas is your go-to destination. Explore a huge selection of top-tier slots and live casino games. And for new players, there's a special welcome. Play £10 on slots and unlock 100 free spins on King Kong Cash. Even bigger bananas, Jackpot King. Step straight into the action and search LiveScore Vegas today. New customers only. Wait in 7 days of sign up. 10 pence spin value. Valid 3 days. TNCs and deposit exclusions apply. 18 plus. Bet responsibly. Gambleaware.org.
Talksport travel with Subway. Now serving deliciously fluffy smuts with fan favorite fillings. Lunchtime legend.
Cities in Cheshire, east spanning 56, partially blocked by junction 10. That's the turn off the stretch of the A49. Very slow in Warwickshire on the southbound M6, junction 4, Coleshill to Coventry at 3 is blocked and queuing in condition there being recovered. And into London, the M4 at the Brentford turn off junction 2. The lane 2 is cooled off there, delays of half an hour. There's a broken down car. It's also causing delays on the opposite side of the carriageway there as well. I'm Jules Buckley.
Talksport Drive this afternoon from 4.
Next up, Soccer City.
Sports stacked communication.
Hot wheelings across the nation.
A fast lane of quad-wheel dialogue delivered at the speed of sport. Here we come! This afternoon from 4 on Talksport Drive.
Interesting situation, a side story if you like, to last night's Tottenham versus Slavia Prague match. The Progress Pride flag, the symbol of the LGBTQ plus community, which is always on display at the Tottenham Stadium, was relocated for last night's game following a request from Slavia Prague. The flag's situated in the northeast corner of the ground where visiting fans are located, but Prague made the request for its removal to UEFA on the basis of security concern. Neither Spurs or Slavia have explained what the safety issues of displaying the Progress flag would be. So, not unsurprisingly, the LGBTQ plus supporter group at Spurs, the Proud Lily Whites, made a statement to their members, which basically said, you don't get to come to our house and dictate what's acceptable, let alone kick off about a flag that represents our own community. But here we are. We wanted to be sure that you know that this is an opposition team request and no reflection of the club's commitment to the Proud Lily Whites. So, I mean, this can't be right, can it? That another club comes here and said, no, we don't want that there. You got to move that. And they do.
Yeah, I mean, in principle, the argument suggests, I mean, this country that constantly reviles people for waving flags of certain descriptions are now making flags a central conversation part of the football stadium. I don't even know why there needs to be a flag inside a football stadium. Is that if it means something, if you've got to display this, and I remember going there on many occasions going, why is there a necessity in a world that recognises equality, that in a world that is inclusive, why do we need to keep putting flags up? And
What harm does it do?
well, I don't think
What harm does it do to you? I mean, Slavia Prague Well, I'm kind of getting it. The Czech Republic doesn't recognise same-sex marriage,
It
etc.
doesn't do any harm to me, but the agenda of certain parts of that community do cause me concern. They do cause me concern because I've got a young child at school that I don't want to be indoctrinated with certain views of that particular.
That's another matter. But what's right, what's wrong last
You
night?
ask me questions, I'm giving you an answer. Don't
Yeah.
cut me off because you don't like the answer. The answer is I don't think there's a
But
flag.
you are taking it to extreme.
No, I'm not. This is a flag.
Who's right or who's wrong here? Should the flag have been moved last
The
night?
first question is, why is the flag there in the first place? The second question is, should it be moved? I don't think it needs to be there in the first place. But in the event that it's
Been there for
in
years.
the event that it's there, in the event that it's there, this is not another case of football having the courage of its own ridiculous convictions. We saw this in the World Cup where all the players suddenly wanted to be able to do what they wanted to do and wear their one love armbands and do whatever the hell they wanted to do. When it came down to a yellow card being the consequence, everybody fell away from it. So now you've got a situation where a football club that is in a country that has certain views on whether LGBT rights are as prevalent in our country, and they've made an objection to it, I say. And so Tottenham, rather than say, well, I'm sorry, these views are very important to us, and you take it as you take our football stadium as you find it, they didn't. So what does that tell you about the importance of it?
Well, Slavia made the pitch to UEFA on the basis of security concern. So at the end of the day, Slavia Prague got their way. They don't want the thing right in front of their fans.
Assuming that Tottenham are able to make an alternate pitch about the reality of the environment they provide, it's their football stadium. If it's deemed to be important for them to have this message in their football stadium, domestic football, for every other European fixture, why would it be deemed to be inappropriate?
That by and large, you don't like organisations or clubs coming here and saying, this is what we want, do it this way.
But that's not the argument they want me to
Slavia Prague were visiting Tottenham last night.
That's my point.
Why? And they're dictating.
Well, but that's surely up to Tottenham. Because Tottenham could have made representations in the same way that Slavia Prague did, because Tottenham are the people that are feeling the need to put an LGBTQ plus flag inside their bloody stadium, and they're the ones that are saying it's valuable.
I'm surprised you're not pushing back on it because you don't like people coming to England, no matter what,
I'm not listening.
saying,
You're not listening.
do this, do that.
But
You don't have that.
But you're not listening to me, because that's what I am precisely saying. I'm saying that the value is, I don't think it should be there in the first place. I think there's a necessity for it. I don't think football stadiums need to be talking about communities or inclusivity as if it wasn't already there in the first place, and advertising particular ideologies and particular brands of thinking. So from that point of view, I'm against the situation in the first instance. But in the event that they have made it important, then they should have the courage of their convictions to be able to say to UEFA and to make the representations to UEFA, no thank you very much. These are guests inside our football stadium. If it's good enough for all the other European counterparts to be able to have to tolerate and to accept, and it's good enough for our domestic players,
Isn't this just
why should Slavia Prague be able to make a representation that we don't defend?
Isn't it just another example
Of problems can happen in the right country.
Correct.
Of any sort.
Correct.
You know, whether it be Ukrainian, whether it be LGBT.
Where do you stand with the Egyptians and the Iranians then, I presume? Because it was announced before the World Cup draw in Seattle, the game June 26th, Seattle. That game earmarked to be a Pride match coinciding with Seattle's Pride weekend. Ironically, the draw was made and that Pride match is between Egypt and Iran, two countries in which homosexuality is outlawed. The Egyptian FA has written to FIFA outlining their absolute rejection of any activities linked to LGBTQ plus supporting the match.
I think it's fabulous irony.
It's certainly an irony, that is for
I
sure.
think it's a fabulous irony.
Do you stand with the Egyptians, the Iranians?
I-
We're not having it, it's not the way we do
I
things.
stand with the fact that football is an inclusive sport and that people's sexuality is only their own business, and this constant agenderizing of ethnicities and persuasions is not necessary in sport, and we should try to keep it out as much as we possibly can, because otherwise you get these ironic anomalies thrown out now, where you've got a situation where you've got two countries that for whatever reason, and every country has its own objectives and outcomes and style of living, and we don't agree with it in the West. We don't agree with the fact that homosexuality should be treated in a certain way. They do in their own countries. We can't dictate what the world does.
But when we went to Qatar, they pushed back on we won't be elected about how we should do things morally, culturally
And we
in our
can
own
cope with
country because we are hosting the World Cup. And but we then you criticise other organisations.
No, I did. What I actually said was, who are we to lecture other people in their own country about the rates of pace of change? In 1966, when we held the World Cup, homosexuality was outlawed in this country. So countries move at different paces.
But you could run that argument with Egypt and Iran, saying, who are you to go to the US and say, nah, we're not having it. This is no pride match. This isn't how we do it.
You could.
They're on American soil.
You could run that
It's a
argument.
pride match.
You could run that argument. But the irony of the positioning is if you didn't have a game that was seeded in a particular sexuality that doesn't need to be seeding games that people are doing it for their own agendas, then you wouldn't have this issue. Why is the
Seattle's Pride Weekend?
Well, that's
where the game is. That's where Egypt and Iran will be playing.
But they utilise.
And that was the game that was designated to be
There's also
the Pride match.
I mean, I'm firmly against the idea that we have to have a gay pride month. We live in a society where everybody's equal. People are accepted under the eyes of the law, and I'm getting tired of people banging on about what they think they should and shouldn't have in society and keep having it forced down our throats. That's why people resisting the situation. I'm concerned that we are constantly having ideologies forced into our world, and if you dare object to something, if you dare object to your child being taught at school that transgender people can teach them lessons in life, then all of a sudden you're a bigot.
Again, you're taking a challenge. The
But
Islamic right people got what they wanted.
You have to take
I
it
wonder if Egypt and Iran will get a line put through the significance of that Pride Weekend game in Seattle.
Unfortunately, in this world, you have to take it to the extremes because we in the media love it. No. In this conversation, you're asking me for my opinion on it, and we in the media have a great desire to amplify every single situation and sensationalize it. So why should my responsibility?
What are you doing if you're not taking it to extreme?
But that's my point. You're listening. So it's entirely appropriate to fight fire with fire. My argument is if you don't deal with it at the highest level in the worst case scenario, then ultimately you're not being able to address the issues that you're concerned about. And that's the space that we're in. So the media, because the media will do it for you, other aspects of the media will do it for me. They'll turn around and say, well, it's a slippery slope, it could lead to this, it could lead to that. Well, I'll make that argument that actually force-feeding people a diet of ideologies is not healthy for people's viewpoint, and questioning them is a reasonable thing to do and doesn't make you a bigot, a racist, or a misogynist.
Who's force-feeding ideologies? Just in the passing. The Progress Pride flag. The Progress Pride flag, which always flies there. Ironically, last night in front of the Pakistani Pride flag, it would have flown there. I mean, being gay is not an ideology.
Well, no, but there's ideologies behind it about the principles of what people are like. Why do we need to have a gay pride? We live in a society that's equal.
But why not?
Why do we need one?
But why don't you need one?
Certain parts of it, and I would imagine the gay community are not happy with it. It's good, because they're not, and I would imagine they're deeply concerned with having a TQI attached to themselves.
Well, the Slavia Pride Club got their way last night to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I wonder if Egypt and Iran, when they head to Seattle, will get the same. It's just gone 12 noon.
Nothing sets the tone for your day like country hits. That's why Junior's exclusive Country Roads is here to make your journey just a bit better.
We've got all your sports podcasts all in one place. The Bill Simmons podcast, Party My Take, and much more. Jump into the conversation and don't miss a single one. Search podcast or tell your device to play your favorite podcast on TuneIn. Sports updates powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting further music at the Charlottetown. Search Nissan Vans or head to a local Nissan Van center.
6 minutes past 12, and we go. Liverpool haven't played that well since August. Standing Murphy, he's not right. Swat serves credit. Control is playing on the red teaser.
Even the full
quarterback stayed home most of the night, Gomez and Robinson. It was a really disciplined performance, and everyone contributed. I thought Curtis Jones was terrific. Well, Danny says the only way back for Salah is saying sorry to Slot. I don't think he's going to get an apology, which means he's done. You can't bring him back in the football. He's done. And that's from a business point of view, while he's still got value in terms of motivation, to move on. Salah will be spoken to this weekend, what could be his last game for the club. Tonight on TalkSport, Newcastle get by Leverkusen, while Arsenal's trips to Bruges is live on TalkSport 2. Pep Guardiola, while connect Xabi Alonso's time at Real Madrid if Man City get a decent win with Bernabeu tonight. Former Madrid president Ramon Calderon stopped by Jordan feet and been taking Celta Vigo 9 round for a month.
I don't see any difference with any other coaches, any other moments when the team has lost 9 points, as in this case, in 5 La Liga matches.
The FA confirmed England will face Japan, Uruguay, their final 2 friendlies in March. Thomas Tuchel makes the World Cup squad. Pogba hopes to one day own the world's most expensive camel. Become a major shareholder of Saudi-based camel racing team Al Padu. Now, Monaco operators have watched his fair share of races on YouTube. On our YouTube channel today, we talked about dance, trophy, lead songs, interferences like Jermaine Bennett from Moncton. News. The UK got the Australia and banning social media for under 16s. And the executive leader has not ruled out taking up the reform. You've seen that.
TalkSport weather with Quick Fit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Looks brighter, but some heavy showers across Scotland, scattered showers elsewhere, mild blustering gale.
White and Jordan on TalkSport. Contemplation, agitation, expectation for the football nation. Welcome to the Colosseum of confrontation. White versus Jordan. When the mics go live, the gloves come off. White and Jordan. Good morning to TalkSport.
Good afternoon, everybody. 8 minutes past 12 noon. It's Wednesday lunchtime, and it's Jim White, it's Simon Jordan, and it's Danny Murphy, and we are live on TalkSport with you all the way through until 1 o'clock. Many messages coming in, following our discussion there about Slavia Prague seemingly getting their way last night with the LGBTQ plus flag move, not flown, move from being right back in front of the Slavia Prague visiting support last night. They didn't want it there, and they had many acquiesced as a result of that, and the flag was not flown last night. There is a message there coming in. I'm looking at many messages coming in on this. Good afternoon to you. Having LGBTQ flags in a match is far less harmful than having alcohol, gambling, and junk food rammed down our throats at every home game. If Simon thinks there's equality here in the UK, then he is living in a bubble. Spoken like a true privilege entitled Rich White Man. There is maybe coincidentally no name on that message, but it is one of many messages coming in nonetheless.
You choose to be involved. You choose to be. You choose to have a home. You don't choose to have a flag stuff with the ideologies behind it confronting with the other day of life. Interesting.
An official complaint against Gianni Infantino has been filed with FIFA Ethics Committee after Donald Trump was handed that Peace Prize at last week's World Cup draw in Washington, D.C. The campaign group Fair Square has alleged, quote, repeated breaches of political neutrality by Infantino. Fair Square have previously advocated for the rights of migrant workers, remember, during the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. 4 alleged breaches, not 1, 2, not 3, but 4 alleged breaches relating to Infantino's relationship with Trump are cited by Fair Square as breaching neutrality in Article 15 of FIFA's Code of Ethics. So Fair Square are an organization who are well and truly going after Infantino and FIFA. Nick McGeehan is chief exec of Fair Square. Nick, good afternoon.
Yes, it's good.
What about this then? Has Infantino really broken his own rules?
Good afternoon, Jim. Yes, he has. He's very clearly broken his own rule on 4 separate occasions, as you mentioned in your introduction. There's a very clear rule within FIFA's code of ethics that officials are supposed to remain politically neutral in dealing with government institutions. So he broke the rule before he gave the prize to Trump. He said that we should all support Donald Trump's political agenda. He encouraged and said he should have won the Nobel Prize. So those are 2 very obvious instances where he's done it. There's a couple more. And also the entire, the manner in which the prize was organised, like introduced and then awarded, appears also to have been a pretty and really a gross abuse of presidential power.
Nick, I mean, I read the report, or some of the report that you produced when you came to the studio a few months ago, whatever it was, and I'm all for you guys keeping people honest and trying to break down the barriers of the opaqueness of the organisation. But when you talk about the political neutrality of the situation, I don't think they were talking about his policies towards domestic stance or his particular leaning in politics. Here they were talking about his contribution towards peace in Gaza and the Ukraine, rather than his political leaning. So whilst I understand you're trying to make a point, and your real point is to try and keep people honest, I think this is a little bit flaky.
Well, I disagree. First of all, there was a comment made on November the 5th in Miami when he was asked about his relationship with Trump.
Yeah.
And he said he considered him a close personal friend. Said that he was just doing what he was elected to do. He said, I think we should all get behind him. I think we should all support him. And that's nothing to do with his foreign policy. That's to do with his domestic political agenda. He's very clearly...
What's the context? What's the context? That A, he's allowed to have a friend in a president, and he might have a friend in the opposition parties in America, because he wasn't particularly asked about that. Are we talking about getting behind his agendas and making the World Cup the best version of itself? What is the context of him speaking in regards to questions that are being asked?
Yeah, it's not the part about the friend. He's allowed to say that. It's not injudicious, I would say, but he's allowed to say that. It's the part where he says, I think he's doing a good job, we should all support him. Now, he's basically expressing very clear support for president. Now, it doesn't matter what you think about Trump.
Yeah,
right? Trump,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. But the fact is, he's very clearly expressing support for him. On the point about peace and the foreign policy, I think that's clearly the line that people would say. They would say, oh, it's about peace. It's not about peace. It's
again,
about...
I'll ask you the question. Whilst we've been dealing with domestic issues and policies, is he talking about in conjunction with doing a good job of promoting the World Cup? And many arguments about this. Matches being considered to be played in different environments because Trump's getting involved with moving matches because of issues. Is he talking about the World Cup and American involvement in it, or is he talking about Trump's political views on the landscape of America? Because if he's talking about the World Cup, why is he not allowed to say, listen, I'm no Infantino fan, I'm behind you guys, keeping him honest. But if he's talking in conjunction with the World Cup, aren't you just really on a bit of a fishing expedition to make some noise?
He's not talking about the World Cup. That's a whole point, Nick, isn't it? I mean, were you surprised, Nick, that he gave him that FIFA and Infantino moved so quickly to do this with Trump, to give him a peace prize in such a high-profile woman?
Yeah, just to go back to Simon's point, you're absolutely right. He has to forge a political relationship with the US president. Nobody's disputing that. But the comment about political support, it wasn't about the World Cup. Okay, it was a general question. So it's a flagrant breach of the rules, I would say.
You accept that, Simon? You accept that it wasn't about the World Cup?
Now that I'm privy to the context, because the context is on these advances, because it's not going to advance Infantino's argument, it's going to advance his, isn't it? Your bias towards Trump will lead you to advance any argument against him. The fact is, it's fine, yours.
If I come in ridiculous. Listen to it all the time. I mean, it's fair to that. If it wasn't so laughable, it wouldn't be such a serious matter, would it, Nick? The bottom line is that if it wasn't so laughable, that Infantino, I mean, when you see the final alleged breach, and this comes from you guys, Nick, refers to a video published on Infantino's Instagram account in January, in which he thanked Trump for inviting him to the presidential pre-inauguration rally. I mean, it started then, didn't it? What was he doing there?
Yeah, I mean, this is the question. What is he doing there, and what is the basis of this relationship? And why is he so close to Trump, and vice versa? I mean, I think there's very one plausible explanation for it, which is quite disturbing if there's any truth to it. I wonder if Trump knows that the World Cup is a swindle, that it's a scam, because it is a scam, right? FIFA takes all the ticketing money, it takes all the sponsorship money, it takes all the broadcasting money, all of it. And all the cost of pertaining it goes to the host government. On top of that, Trump promised them tax exemptions on all the revenue. So at any moment, I think Infantino probably knows that Trump could turn around and say, you know what, Gary, you're not getting the tax exemptions. If that is the case, you have a situation where Trump has leverage over the FIFA president, and we know how he exerts leverage. So is it possible that this prize and this medal and all of this stuff is the quid pro quo for allowing FIFA to waltz off with hundreds of millions of dollars that should be, in the US tax exchequer? I think it's highly possible.
I think can I just ask a quick one, a bit lighter? Is it the Ronaldo situation?
Yeah, well, there's so many cases, Danny. What you have is an organisation that just applies its rules consistently and breaks it.
So do we expect to see the members of the IOC in America and hobnobbing with the various officials and politicians when the Olympics is being just out of curiosity, because I bet we do.
Yeah, I do, but it's not hobnobbing. Right, you can do all that hobnobbing stuff, right? You can have close relationships with them. You can talk about the various issues around those things are complex, and
Yeah, I don't think the IOC have any plans to hand Trump a peace prize. I mean, the bottom line again, Nick, is here that you're calling for the ethics committee to investigate the circumstances surrounding the decision to introduce and award a FIFA peace prize to Trump. But after that, where does it go? From your point of view, where does it go?
well, I mean, we're not naive. We don't expect this complaint to be taken seriously. We think it's important that you outline the arguments and you access the mechanisms that are supposed to hold these people accountable. Now, if they don't take this seriously, what it highlights is that the FIFA president can essentially break the rules whenever he likes, and they'll be come back for it. And that's the serious issue. And after that, I think what we need to be talking about, and this was what we talked about in the studio last time I was in, is policymakers have to look at this organisation and think, A, it's abusive, it's extractive, it takes hundreds of millions of dollars out of countries, and is it doing a good job? Is it really sustainably governing the game that we all love and want to see improve? I don't think it is, and more attention needs to be paid to it.
Nick, thank you very much indeed. Nick McGeehan, Chief Executive of Freedom Square, on, amongst other things, that peace prize that Trump so quickly took the medal and threw around his neck. We are watching distance and Sugarhead, or some of us did. Maybe you didn't, son. 20 past 12.
Tune in Town 2. A brief look at all the special functions and things you might not know we have.
Missed out on your latest podcast episodes? Don't worry, TuneIn has got you covered. Not only can you catch up and stream all the episodes you missed, but we can remind you when the next episode airs, so you don't miss a thing. Just favorite the podcast you love. All new episodes appear on the homepage. Nice, right?
The biggest classic rock hits do just that. They hit hard. And on TuneIn's Classic Rock Hits, you'll find only the best and high-octane awesomeness. We're talking rock gods like Led Zeppelin, Kiss, AC/DC, Leonard Skinner, and so many more. So for those of you about to rock, search Classic Rock Hits or ask your smart device to play Classic Rock Hits on TuneIn.
Listeners, unite. TuneIn brings together your music, news, sports, and more, whether you're music obsessed. To stay in the know, some news, points, country, nice. Want to stay up to date with up-to-the-minute sports coverage? Understand our grades? Feel about it. There are people who feel that this is taking its all right here on TuneIn. Just sit back and listen. Swing. Into a ring. Cash and free spins every day on free ground prize.
top prize of £1,000. Experience it all. GrosvenorCasinos.com. Eligible players 18 plus. Terms and keep it fun.
At Vodafone, you can save up to £1,032 with the Samsung Galaxy S25 FE when you trade in an eligible phone. Keep you and your family connected this Christmas. Hurry! Offer ends 17th of December. So, go online or install today. Vodafone. Say £576 parking like 800 basis points, £144 phone, £3 million phone post-paid, phone cost is £534, credit and data checks are satisfied, finance and pay.
Right. Brace yourself. At Co-op, you can get 2 pizzas and a tub of Ben & Jerry's for a £5. Yeah, a £5. It's kind of a big deal, eh?
You're unbelievable.
Come on. Owned by you, right by you.
And 2nd of January selected products subject to availability. Co-op Food Stores only. See co-op.co.uk for details.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Rob. Nice day. Lovely. Busy. Very. Still on site. Still there. Way after. Usual. All bloods. 7. Plastic. Nylon. 1 pound 2. Got you. Cheers. 2 ticks. Fine. There you go. Thanks. Continue that. My phone. Left me. Sorry. Oh, you went today. See ya.
You're too busy to mess around, so we're right behind you at over 580 stations nationwide to get you sorted sharpish. Next stop,
Toll Station. Big game this week. Want to bet? Stop and think. Because the best bet is the one you don't make. Gamble responsibly. Betfred. 18 plus blueware.org. The Quick Fit Tool Sport Darts Trophy is back. Dealer Storyteller Saunders returns to defend his title. Will Goldstein and Ben get knocked out in the first round again? It's Pundit versus Pundit as Talk Sport's biggest names battle it out for hockey immortality. Don't miss the ultimate Christmas darty party live from 1 p.m. today. The Talk Sport Darts Trophy with Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
Talk Sport travel with Subway. Download the Subway app to save on subs. Subway rewards. Back in the days.
And he sold that M5, the offset to junction 1 for West. Partially blocked in queuing, and obstruction there is causing delay. I'm Jules Buckley.
Free game Thursday on the TalkSport network. From 5:45 on Trek versus Forest on TalkSport 2. From 8, Bars of Face Villa on TalkSport. Watch Selwyn clash with Palace on TalkSport 2. The Moscow Thursday night of European football on TalkSprout and TalkSprout 2.
And we're back on air, and we didn't even realise it. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Danny Murphy. And we are live on Talk Sport. Danny, from your point of view, we're delighted to know that we're going to return to football talk. And pressing football matters, certainly pressing if you're an Arsenal fan. Arsenal, of course, in action. They travel to the Champions League clash with Club Brugge tonight. But many players have not travelled. And in that category, William Saliba, Gabriel, Mosquera, Trossard, Havertz, all missing at the moment. Are Arsenal unlucky with their injuries? It's a dangerous circle, according to our pre-match.
Not really. Training is not there, but obviously the fact that you're missing players, you are lowering all the players more. That's a consequence of that, and it's a really dangerous circle that one. And on top of that, we have some injuries that, okay, in terms of what happened in the past, we are not having more injuries. The fact that we had some others that are long-term, that they haven't been with us since the beginning of the season, but as well, it's a test for the team, and so far we have reacted very, very well to that. We have played a lot of games with a lot of players missing, that puts a lot of stress, and then more injuries because we don't train. I mean, today we've done 20 minutes, so surely it's not because we overtrained the play.
I mean, Danny, Arsenal and injuries in the past, in some quarters, it's been viewed that they've been used as an excuse. If they slip up here, slip up there. Will it be a valid excuse if it falls short again in a bid for silverware?
Well, it depends on the injuries continuing to what level. I mean, there's an element of luck with injuries, as with players and others, the way they're physiologically built, more susceptible to injuries than others. I think in recent seasons you could argue he's heavily reliant on certain players, constantly playing them over and over again. So Saka being one, but they were victims of their own structure, if you like, in terms of their squad depth and all that. They could have dealt with that differently. But now they've got this wonderful squad. They can't use it as an excuse. I mean, the facts are there. They are getting a lot of injuries defensively, which is strange, really, because centre half is the one position on the pitch you run the least dynamic position to play with the goalkeeper. Because I remember looking at the numbers when I played, the centre halves were always the best. So that's a bit strange how they keep getting. That's bad luck.
I mean, they had to cope. He's had to cope with a lot. I mean, only Leeds have suffered more injuries than Arsenal. 26 this season.
Well,
26.
They're a very physical team when they play. Their physical output is huge. Their numbers are high. They're very aggressive, robust team. So that's part of it. Maybe. But I don't think his delivery there was whingy or whiny. I think he was just talking. He's asked a question. He's answering it calmly with a smile on his face.
I mean, he's asked if you train too much. He's saying no, because we don't train. I mean, 20 minutes is what we're doing before we play this.
Exactly. I don't think training is a problem. I think that they're having some bad luck, but they do play an intense way. I mean, the levels when they're at Arsenal, they're all over the pitch, and that falls into being physical. The numbers on that was going to be
Yeah.
I mean, he did say something I read as well about players playing 150 odd games in 2 seasons. I mean, you're talking probably. I don't think those numbers are right. Let's say it's 125.
Yeah.
You'd be talking about less than 10 players.
I mean, you did mention some in the
Less than
intense
10.
schedule just last week. The intense schedule. And we know where we're going with this. If they were to slip up again, and the inevitable, or choke, you choked again. What's it down to this time? Inevitably, it will swing back to at one stage.
Just to say,
We've got so many players out.
if you think of City have won leagues when they've lost Haaland. Do you know what I mean? It's you could look at all different teams when they win stuff and go, well, they have those injuries and those injuries. It's hard to be compare and contrast.
You make the point. I don't know how substantial that is about Haaland and the replacement they now have for him. And the difficulty is that it's incredibly disadvantageous for Arsenal to lose 2 central defenders of that quality. And the difficulty is you can't legislate for that. But what they've got is enough quality in their dressing room that they don't slip up against less opposition. Now, if you've got top quality defenders like Ben White available to you, slotting to the side and playing a certain way, you've got to have them ready to do so. And you can't lose games against the lesser teams. You might find yourself losing games against the better teams, but that could be quite thinking anyway. And at the back end of the season, if you keep yourself where you are now and tick over and keep winning games and keep taking results where you can, with a weakened team, when the back end of the season comes the business end, what accused Arsenal of choking last time, if you've got your best players back, you won't be in a situation where they won't be accused of choking because they've got a good enough squad to win this league.
They bought Mosquera and they've also got Ben White. They're covered. They're just not as good.
You saw the difference on Saturday.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
But then also, you could look, Arsenal have spent money on Joffrey. He's the missing piece. He surprised me. He's had him on the bench for 3 games because Moreno's done so well. So, it's look. There are a lot.
I don't think it'll slip up tonight. I think Arsenal have got more than enough.
To be honest, if he's got any sense, he'll play load of the young lads. It doesn't even matter when they're in a great, they're unbeaten. They won the game.
Yeah.
So if I was him, I'd be thinking weekend back to winning ways in the Prem. I know they've got rules. Don't even worry about it.
Because if he doesn't, and he plays a full strength side and someone gets injured, it leaves the architect with his own downfalls.
I don't think Rice is known. He's having a great. They've got a couple of others missing as well.
Well, Champions League action for Arsenal tonight, and they're up against Club Brugge, but not there. Saliba, Gabriel, Mosquera, Trossard, Havertz, maybe they're back here listening to it live on TalkSport 2. It's 12:30.
Nothing sets the tone for your day like country hits. That's why TuneIn's exclusive Country Roads is here to make your journey just a bit better. With classic, feel-good country songs to bring summer vibes all year long. To top 40 hits you just can't get enough of. TuneIn's Country Roads are your route for the best in country music. Just search Country Roads or ask your device to play Country Roads on TuneIn for Southern hospitality now.
Looking for even more of the audio you love? Upgrade to TuneIn Premium to remove ads like this one and score more of the content you love. That's more curated news.
If one party is saying we will never raise taxes even on millionaires and billionaires.
More top sports. And everything in between. Look right now for the premium listening experience.
Fill your day with podcasts on TuneIn. Whether you're passing the time on your commute, catching up on your workouts, or just tuning in while hanging out, all your favorite podcasts are all here on TuneIn. The Daily Wisconsin. I'm Michael. This is Smartless.
Hey guys, I got a mouthful of English muffin with a glass full of
Marketplace.
Three on the program today, or the big three.
And more. Just search podcasts or tell your device to play your favorite podcast and tune in.
A moment. A driver cuts across, a bump, a claim, and suddenly it's your word against theirs. That's when your Nextbase dashcam steps in. Your witness recording every detail, every second, with total clarity. Nextbase protects you. Right now, get up to £100 off Nextbase dashcams, including the amazing IQ and new Pico at nextbase.com, Halfords, and other retailers. Nextbase dashcams. Protect every journey.
This Christmas, race into Team Sport indoor karting or grab gift vouchers for festive adrenaline-packed fun. Visit team-sport.co.uk.
Let's show even more people just how much they mean to us this Christmas with 20% off Moonpig cards. Fill them with stickers, photos, even a heartfelt video, all with 20% off when you use code Xmas20. Because this Christmas, everyone deserves a Moonpig.com.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair, play different. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Get unbeatable coverage of all the biggest sports headlines with the back page review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Every weekday morning from 6, listen to the Superstar Breakfast for all the breaking news you need to know, the latest views you need to hear, and the big new interviews you can't afford to miss. The back page review on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. From side hustle to startup, get business bundles for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. In terms of verification, visit tescomobile.com/business. TalkSport News.
A very good afternoon. You're listening to Talk Sport. With the news headlines, I'm Olivia Belshroud. We've been talking about Australia's new ban on kids under 16 using social media. Their new law fines social media companies for not blocking those in that age bracket. So our Culture Secretary here, Lisa Nerney, has been asked whether Britain's going to follow suit, and she reckons it's unlikely.
We asked young people what they thought about it, and the overwhelming response was concerns about enforceability. Are we seriously saying that we're going to start prosecuting young people for going onto social media?
Elsewhere today, Kemi Badenoch not ruling out teaming up with Reform at the next election, but insists a Tory agenda is best for the country. She's just been chatting in the Commons.
Under Labour, Mr. Speaker, everything is getting worse. Jobs, bills, police numbers, teacher numbers.
The Conservative leader also said Nigel Farage should have apologised over claims he was racist. Now, a British soldier killed on duty in Ukraine has been named as Lance Corporal George Cooley. The 28-year-old was injured in an incident away from the front lines. And the taxpayer forked out £5 billion to support asylum seekers last year. $2 billion of that was for hotels. Meanwhile, a Telegraph investigations discovered people smugglers are forcing female migrants into sex with false promises of cheap small boat crossings.
Talk Sport with Bostik. If you need a professional grade sealant with high mold resistance, easy tooling and minimal shrinkage, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
Top stores control back to Liverpool, and Xabi Alonso faces the sack. Man City beat Real Madrid. Well, it's what one.
It's on Sports Superstar Breakfast.
Yabba dabba, hey, we know exactly what to say. Lemon squeezy, squeezy, yabba dabba do.
experiences are giving you the chance to experience the event of the year, the PDC World Darts Championship at Ali Pali on the 23rd of December. You and 3 mates could be living at large with platinum seats, fine dining, complimentary bar, exclusive access to the 501 lounge with Russ, the voice Bray, and then it's straight to your prime arena table for the best view in the house. Get ready for an unforgettable Ali Pali Christmas. Here's how you can enter. For your chance to win, text darts to 83338. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 4217508. Lines close at 4 o'clock on December 18th, and that's when you'll need to answer your phone should it ring. 18 plus and UK residents only. So for your chance to win, text darts to 8333 now, and this is a network promotion. Full terms conditions at talksport.com. Good morning, Simon Jordan, Danny Murphy live on TalkSport. Simon, a story surfaced last week that Brighton owner Tony Bloom has been accused of operating a £600 million gambling syndicate to bet on football matches. But in court papers it said that he controls Tony Bloom betting syndicate and agreed with an individual named George Cottrell to use his offshore gaming accounts to place bets on sporting fixtures, predominantly football matches. Now, the allegations came via a claim filed at London's High Court by a former employee of Star Lizard, a betting advisory company owned by Bloom, which his syndicate places some of its bets. In the claim, a former employee claims that Bloom and the syndicate used the betting accounts of well-known footballers, sportspersons, and businessmen to place bets. Now it's transpired that in 2014, Bloom was given special dispensation by the FA to operate his betting consultancy, Star Lizard, and continue to bet on football through his syndicate. Bloom is not allowed to bet, it should be stressed, on Brighton games and any other Premier League game or matches in knockout competitions involving Premier League teams. As part of the agreement, all of Bloom's bets are audited, both by a leading accountancy firm and by the FA every year. But here's the thing, MPs have accused Brighton of, quote, setting a dangerous precedent after Brighton banned Guardian reporters and photographers from home matches following reports on gambling allegations around Tony Bloom. I mean, banning football, banning journalists, banning newspapers is a club you've done it, haven't you? Are clubs well within their rights to ban journalists and newspapers, as has happened on this occasion? Is it not all of it not a reaction? You're not getting for what you've written.
Depends, Jimmy. The state should be able to have an infallible team that can write what it wants when it wants without any consequences.
There's always going to be consequence, yes.
But if the consequence is that an organisation, and let's have a listen to the arguments being raised by the PCMS and the FSA, neither one of them, I think, have actually spoken to us about the challenges I present. I don't think anyone can argue that Tony Bloom has been absolutely good for Brighton and has done more for that, most opponents think that has done more for that community. There's a suggestion that Tony Bloom has some answers to be made about the circumstances are probably a little bit of a stretch in terms of the DCMS's position and the FSA when they're making their sort of winter quote observations. Now, insofar as the process is concerned, my understanding of this situation is when you want to ban the statement of protection, some of this is the ramifications of it. Do you ban them in perpetuity? Do you consequently the entire publication of sport writers positioning maybe a business representative? Probably not in the longer term. But do you allow people to write serious articles that you've looked at and gone, well, actually, your source is apparently anonymous Twitter account. And ultimately, my process of this court case and the other sort of things being filed in the claim that I'm most likely to strike out probably in January, February, because ultimately it has no merits attached to it. It's just a disgruntled employee on a risky position. When somebody writes articles that have been written about Tony Bloom the way that they have, I'm probably pissed out saying, I agree about that. I would have been published from the Tony, I would have gone off the page and saying, you've got one single signature of this, and I'll shut the defamation book and you'll put it with that. Well, that's fine. That's what Tony wants to do. That's up to him. But the process of putting this statement and attitude is a key concern for me, because whilst newspaper and media have the right of free society to report fairly and balanced, when this matter gets included. I'm willing to wager it gets included in the instances. Not about whether Tony Blue should discover a special dispensation that'd be better because of their betting businesses prior to the ownership. That, as the revelations come out, the allegations are that there's some other troubling factors around football and the integrity of the sport. And the way that the article's been written is very judgmental of Tony Blue. And so with that in mind, it causes me concern on his behalf. Whilst I have no vested interest in defending Brighton, I do believe that if people write articles that aren't fair and balanced, a retraction on the back page of the newspaper 6 months later is of no use to men or reason.
No, exactly, because you read a retraction on these ones, rather than the line. But banning journalists, banning newspapers, it doesn't. When Saturday, and the session Saturday, I think they banned the journalists from attending. Banning somebody who ain't doing their best, good point. Banning somebody for something you don't like, and you object, you don't like this. There's something different. Banning somebody because they've written an article which is incredibly damaging, unfair, spurious, weighted in such a way that not speaking at a great level of facts, not hiding behind the confidentiality of sources to suggest that the article that we stood up is not the same as saying to somebody, I'm going to ban you because I don't want to say what you said. There's a difference. I don't agree with banning somebody because you don't like me if you're being criticised. When someone's writing an article, ultimately questioning the integrity of your position in a sport and a business, and your integrity is beyond reproach. And I would suggest that Tony Blue is in that category. I don't blame him for writing a particular position. Whether they're taking it for long term, whether they really want to visit some sports writers, they don't want to visit some sports writers, they want to visit The Guardian. And the sanctimonious outlook that The Guardian and the DCMS and the FSAs will look at this is a man that's done more than what you lot put together. So pack it in. It's a matter for Tony Blue and his associated with the hero as opposed to right being involved in it. No, but Tony Blue, I mean, when you found journalists and when you were at Palace, you did it to legal action at Simon Jordan. Yeah. But did you go to the extra lengths of keeping people out of Albert Park? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I thought if you're going to be destructive, you might say disingenuous, disrespectful, dishonest. You can do it outside like Cleveland Stadium, and that way say anything like this is the drinking with me. Next to the should didn't stop the argument. Well, it's not having the first 10 minutes to be able to do so. And then I was subsequently told by the end of the evening and actually they're writing people to make money. That's how ridiculous the like the exchange was. No, what you do is you make other people, you don't make anything. You report contemporaneously or in real time the outcomes of a football match. You don't make money successful or on and off the field. And that's how it should be. So sustaining it's in a invisible element, the answer should have been fine. Because there's sources such that way, because there's an opportunity to get their name in everything. There's an opportunity. And I don't think either of these entities, the DCMS and the FSA, have actually spoken to Brighton. What they are is renting ones, attaching themselves to something that gives them some oxygen. I agree with you, Sharon. If that is the case, they have to make contact with Brighton. That would be wrong. Absolutely. But what they are saying is, it's also a concerning trend of football clubs restricting access to journalists because of things that have been written about them. That's a fair comment. And that's a fair comment. That's a fair comment if it's true. Because if you ban someone, you either ban them for life or eventually you're elected and come back.
If someone says to me, I don't like the other things, I'll pick nuts to the bans in the state, then that's ridiculous. Yeah, because we need something. If they start writing articles that are not accurate, but damaging to the well-being of the football club, damaging to the well-being of the ownership, let's be clear. If you damage Tony Blue's integrity, you damage Brighton Football Club. Because Tony Blue and association, of course you do. And Tony Blue is going to protect the reputation of himself, the reputation of Brighton Football Club. And I think, whilst he doesn't deserve, he's done things wrong in the future, he doesn't deserve a pass in perpetuity. Because once upon a time he banked off Brighton from a scout up and Paddy built it back in the dome again to a wonderful Premier League. Well, he doesn't deserve a pass in perpetuity. But be sure you're right. And I'm not sure these articles and this sentiment, the process of the case that's going to be brought against Tony, I think struck out that he probably destroyed the arguments. And the idea that he didn't do it with a deflation claim, renting the media, renting it, well, that's style. That's Tony's style. He's probably a little bit more less clear about it. I wouldn't have allowed the article to be followed on advertising. And much more important matter than that, later today, live on H&J, you can tune in
Oh yeah, this is an extremely sought after piece of silverware. Harry Durham, tell us more, Harry. We can do it. I mean, you couldn't put money on it, could you? That's as far as Harry got. The short and the tall of it is the top four star trophy takes place during Oxford Jacobs from 1 o'clock into this afternoon. Harry would have told us that, and he will tell you more when you join him during Ancient Day.
There's just something about classic soul music that gets you moving. And TuneIn's exclusive Soul Groove station has all the right moves. You play on the grooviest 70s selection. Get your masters and melodies with Motown classics. Or just set the right tone with smooth, soulful vibes from Marvin Gaye and more. It's all right here on TuneIn. Ready to set the perfect 70s tone. Search Soul Groove or tell your device to play Soul Groove on TuneIn now. Listen.
Looking for an app to get all your favorite music, news, sports, and more? We've got all your audio all in one place, right here on TuneIn. Play your favorite stations. Play ESPN Radio. Now LeBron has to be the best player on the planet.
From the New York Times, like Ashton. And this is the beat.
That is so much more. Whatever you love listening to, you can hear it all on TuneIn.
It's the last chance to get yourself a ticket for tonight's Lotto draw. Lotto is National Lotto. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or older.
Big Tasty is back at McDonald's, but now it's a double. It's the biggest Big Tasty of all time ever. Big Tasty, the new double Big Tasty, now at McDonald's. Available to the 4th of Jan 2026 from 11 a.m. Price of business special may vary, subject to amendments.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Sky Sports will play all the 50 Premier League games and the PGC Darts Championship. While over on Sky TV, Amadeus and Sweetly Stranger Things is on Netflix. Get Sky Sports, Sky TV and Netflix for a most wonderful price in time for Christmas. Go to sky.com. Sky, believe in better. Requires Sky Stream and relevant Sky TV subscriptions. Minimum broadband speed of 25 megabits per second recommended. 18 plus.
Ready to switch your play? LiveScore Vegas is your go-to destination. Explore a huge selection of top-tier slots and live casino games. And for new players, there's a special welcome. Play £10 on slots and unlock 100 free spins on King Kong Cash. Even bigger bananas, Jackpot King. Step straight into the action and search LiveScore Vegas today. New customers only. Wait in 7 days of sign-up. 10 spin value, valid 3 days. T&Cs and deposit exclusions apply. 18 plus. Bet responsibly. GambleAware.org.
Talk Sport traffic.
Some key routine drama should the southbound side of the M1 at junction 25 for Nottingham and Derby. A lane closed on the opposite there. There's a breakdown. Still long queues southbound on the M6 towards Coventry. Junction 4 to 3 still slow. All lanes are back open now, following an earlier collision there. And in the West Midlands, the southbound side of the M5 at West Bromwich and Birmingham Junction 1. Now the off-slip there remains partially blocked in queuing, and obstruction there is causing delays. I'm Jules Buckley.
Giving you the gift of football this December. Well, would you believe it? A whole month of stuff full of festive football. Please get you on. Get a live commentary of some of December's biggest games. The Festive 50 on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Boxing update on TalkSport with The Zone, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
This Saturday, two undefeated super middleweights, Diego Patecho and Kevin Lilly Sancho, clash for the WBC Silver and WBO international titles, adding a world title shot. You can watch it live this Saturday only on The Zone. That is then, this is now. It's another huge night of Champions League action tonight.
Bounces for Sheik, who shoots at the halfway line. Oh my word! What a goal from Patrick Sheik! It's Harvey Barnes, and he's done it again. It's Harvey Barnes for Newcastle United.
If Newcastle can grab a spell of momentum, they can definitely go and win this.
And it did! On your digger has given Club Brugge the lead. Arsenal sitting pretty at the top of the Champions League main table. It has become a rivalry that has defined the European stage over the last half a decade. Inside the penalty area. City swinging it past Edison. Very good. Boy, turn around the grid.
A massive night, isn't it? Club Brugge against Arsenal. Live in the Champions League Top Sport 2. And live on Top Sport, Leverkusen against Newcastle. Also, of course, in the Champions League. Danny alongside Simon. Danny, when you look at it, 12th in the Premier League, 11th in the Champions League. Is there an indifferent feel to Newcastle this season so far? I mean, we're well into December now.
Yeah, it's been a bit inconsistent. I mean, there's been some good times, great performance against Manchester City, got to level 2, smashed them there, played really well in that. We got to Marseille and looked at the lead. So, yeah, there's inconsistency there, but I think it's. We've had a few problems early in the season with some injuries. They're getting them back now. Wiss is back involved as well, which would be a big plus for them. They don't have to be as heavily reliant on Baltimore. When they're good, they're really good. There's great potential in the side. Two lads, full-back, two young English boys, Livramento and Hall. They've only played together, 4 times this season.
I mean, what does it look like, though? Does better mean that they'll win something?
Well, Champions League qualification, get through, whether it's playoffs or not, just get through. Okay. And that's it. Something to look forward to. Gives them fans excited about it.
Yeah.
Premier League, where it's so tight, Constantine. I mean, Newcastle.
Well, you're right about where it might take them, because victory tonight could take them into the automatic qualification spots in Europe. And then, Simon, the first derby of the season with Sunderland on Sunday. Now, this is the moment, isn't it? I mean, to this point, they've not been overshadowed by the North East rivals.
Yeah, right. I mean, the expectation of Sunderland is being exceeded by their achievements, because people are marvelling at the fact to come up and just pay no attention to the Premier League, done their job so well. The fact that Newcastle playing the Champions League, the fact that Newcastle are expecting to run really hard, and people watching them, scrutinising them, probably doesn't mean that they're being eclipsed by something. But what it does mean is that there's a massive opportunity for people to be hugely engaged and neutrals and people that invest in the game, because at no point when this game was put on the roster did anyone expect to be able to meaningful game, but not for Sunderland to be in this kind of league, in this kind of condition, which is because of the real game on their hand here. They'll be battling for the hearts and minds of their own fans. Yeah. And the fact that against the derby that hasn't been played for 9 years. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah. So it's going to be a hell of a game.
Oh, yeah, it's a hell of a game. And I mean, I expect them to they can go running up and down the touchline as James's Park. I mean,
that's a declining something. This is something.
Yeah, they're on the rise. Newcastle's new chief exec, David Hopkinson, he said Newcastle will be regarded as one of the world's top football clubs and in the position to win the Premier League in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years. You know, when the Saudis were in their side, all the top boys were going to win it, of course, because everyone can understand well the case of the dollars that they can fight up the backside, not allowed to do it. They all align themselves with 20 best countries. Everything about Saudi, every investment is made with the country, which is about their country. All their alignment sports interests, media activity around the 20, 30 projects. So, of course, this fella is now aligning himself with the fact that Newcastle are going to be a powerful force in the world by 2030. Yeah. The challenge for Newcastle is how. Suddenly, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, and all the others, iconic legacy clubs in which we'll to play. Are Newcastle not going to bench? Not for Newcastle's how. Unless there's going to be a governance change. Who knows if there will be? Unless they're going to allow Newcastle to spend what Man City were able to spend, what Chelsea were able to spend, how are you going to create a club that did what Man City and Chelsea done, which is dominating the sport anyway? That's the point, Danny, isn't it? I mean, Hopkinson is saying our job is to set ourselves up to be perennial contenders. Always.
players by paying them the same rate, and if not more, to go to league. So they can't do it.
Like, it's not really winners, isn't it? And the more they send the champions around, yeah, the more they send the champions, the more they build the firm. So this process of perennial contenders, is based on being in the Champions League every season. Because every time they get the Champions League, they get 50, 60 million as an opportunity. That gives them a 50, 60 million opportunity, and their turnovers, people push them attached to it. They get past the APT and associated past transactions, they get more commercial sponsorship, and they build up to 400 million turnover, and then they might have a chance. Where you do that, they ignore the fact that Arsenal have been up and away. Yeah, so does Liverpool. Yeah, so did every other team that are already in position. Whether it's a pie in the sky, Hopkins and things, Premier League, title winners in the next 5 years. There will be. I hope they are. I would love them to. Me too. I would like it makes the wages increase the value. Yeah, the value of the Premier League, but then you don't want to choose. You can have that in La Liga. Yeah, that's why you have the forecast like that is being wide about they haven't got a league like that. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Danny Murphy, as always.
Enjoyed it.
Enjoyed great.
Even from afar.
Well, that's fine, even with the bias. And luckily for me, I love Horns and Mr. Jordan tomorrow morning again at 10. It's coming up till 1 o'clock this Wednesday lunchtime.
There's just something about classic soul music that gets you moving. And TuneIn's exclusive soul group station has all the right moves. You can play on the grooviest 70s selection. Make your masters and melodies with Motown classics. Or just set the right tone with smooth, soulful vibes from Marvin Gaye and more. It's all right here on TuneIn. Ready to set the perfect 70s tone. Search Soul Groove or tell your device to play Soul Groove on TuneIn now.
TuneIn has all your favorite audio in one spot, so you can enjoy listening anything, anywhere, from breaking news. And breaking news is third on before your favorite music. It's got it all. Discover new stations in the app or ask for your
Minigame must be played for a bonus round feature. Eligibility restrictions and T's and C's apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Let's show even more people just how much they mean to us this Christmas with 20% off Moonpig cards. Fill them with stickers, photos, even a heartfelt video, all with 20% off when you use code Xmas20. Because this Christmas, everyone deserves a Moonpig.com.
Custom-built PCs and laptops. Just for gamers, right?
No, it's for creators like me. We need performance.
And designers, we need speed. Don't forget coders. We don't drop the shelf.
And yes, gamers. Well, everybody knows that.
Whatever your needs, configure your perfect PC or laptop with PC Specialist. Powered by Windows 11. A new world of gaming. For custom-built PCs or laptops, visit pcspecialist.co.uk.
Big game this week. Want to bet? Stop and think. Because sometimes the best bet is the one you don't think. Gamble responsibly. Ben Fred, 18 plus gambleaware.org, right? Brace yourself. At Co-op, you can get 2 pizzas and a tub of Ben & Jerry's for a $5. Yeah, a $5. It's kind of a big deal, eh?
You're unbelievable.
Come on. Owned by you, right by you.
And second January selected products subject to availability. Code proof stores only. See code code UK for details.
What other kind of value on Talk Sport and the Call Daily Download Lady correct to celebrate the fans every day. With your tolerant thinker, one call sandwich eater, a half-hour staff worker, or a lifelong faithful torch bearer. A retro shirt for every game. Purchased it, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction, and alternate season, don't miss the Call Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on Talk Sport. With Call, we're here for the fans. 18 plus gambleaware.org. Online and on your smart speaker, home of the festive 50 games of football this December.
Talk Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Score a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan vans or head to your local Nissan van centre.
Good afternoon, here are your sports headlines at 1 o'clock. I'm Will Hobbs. Despite going no Salah, Liverpool put in their best performance since August, according to Danny Murphy, who says Slot deserves real credit. controlled win over Inter.
That's argument. You play 4 central midfielders. You can play any wingers. Condense the middle of the pitch. And when you play that system, it gives you, when you've got 4 central midfielders on the pitch, you get a lot of possession.
On the Salah conundrum, Danny says unless he apologises, he will have to walk alone.
When you're a footballer, you live in this bubble, I've talked about it before. You think you're special. You think you're above normal behaviour.
Slot says he'll speak to the Egyptian king this week ahead of what could be his last game for the club. Xavi Simons, meanwhile, hopes to build his own legacy at Son's old number 7 shirt at Spurs. Son was there to say goodbye to the fans. The Spurs beat Slavia Prague 3-0. Simons scored for a second game running. Tonight, Newcastle goes to Bayer Leverkusen live on TalkSport, and Arsenal's trip to Bruges is live on TalkSport too, while Man City could end Xabi Alonso's time around Madrid with a big win.
It sounds crazy because he's only 6 months into the job, but they were awful at the weekend and losing at home to Celta Vigo. There's problems with in the dressing room. Some of the biggest players at Madrid are not too happy with the type of changes that Alonso is trying to bring into the club.
Madrid writer for the Athletic, Dermot Corrigan, and our very own Galactico Dean Saunders begins the defence of his TalkSport Darts trophy against Jermaine St. Pennant. Surely, Dino says Darren the Truth Bet looks worried about his rematch with Nancy the Destroyer Sawyer after sweeping past him last year.
Last year's defeat is probably the biggest defeat in the history of darts. Because that's the only come from.
TalkSport Darts trophy is live on our YouTube channel from 1:30 p.m.
TalkSport News.
The British soldier killed on duty in Ukraine has now been named, and could our social media accounts be checked before we enter the US? More from the news team after.
TalkSport weather with QuickFit. Rain or shine, our mobile tyre fitting service comes to you so you can stay on the sofa this winter. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
A much brighter day than yesterday for most, but outbreaks of sometimes heavy showers in Scotland and scattered showers possible elsewhere. Still mild throughout the clustery gales in the north.
On 1089 and 1053 immediate wave. Interestingly assembled packed lunch of flavoursome football, sizzling celebrity, and crunchy comedy bits. It's the legendary lip-smacking lunchtime wheeze. The all-enduring Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport.
This is Paul Hawksby and James. Welcome to the Moncton Valley in London for the 3rd TalkSport Darts Championship. Once again, the cream of TalkSport presenters have arrived to play darts here in London. And Andy, who's your favourite this afternoon?
Well, I'm desperate for Natalie to win. I'm desperate for Natalie to beat Benty again. That would make me so happy.
Well, there's only one man really we can talk to. He is the 2-time champion, defending his crown. Once again, it's Dean, the storyteller Saunders. Dino, are you going to do it again?
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play with 2 darts. Give him a chance. I've already got 2 darts. I'm thinking about it, but I'm on a hat-trick. And then if I do win it this year, I'll probably retire from darts. There's more to life than darts.
It'll be a great host of darts.
I want to do it my life. Yeah. There's more to life than darts, then, isn't there? Yeah, practice the hours I've had to put in over the years. 7 or 8 hours. It's all paid off because 5 P's, proper preparation, prevents good performance. That's what I live by. And I'm going to give everyone a chance at it.
Got it?
Ready?
So can Dean do it? Can he make it 3 in a row? Stick around to find out right through to 4. And then, of course, we'll have the final Dean drive. TalkSport World Darts Championship! All about whether Dean Saunders can retain the TalkSport World Championship alongside another kicker. The trophy's going big. You're out. The Destroyer, exactly.
Well done, Natalie Sawyer. Mind-blowing stuff.
Natalie Sawyer beating Darren Beck is the highlight of my year.
I've let everyone in here down.
Jamie O'Hara, close but no cigar.
Well, I'm using it food, ain't that? I'm like a guy with everything. What have I become to these people? I thought I was loved it.
Are you ready for the grand final? Get it, Dean Saunders retains the TalkSport World Darts Championship title. We won't hear the end of this.
The ones that pick
use in the 6-yard box.
That's it.
You can't find them anywhere.
Do you know, I'm just happy to be here.
We did this so well. These events starts as the winner.
That's how it all unfolded last year, Andy.
Yeah,
I was so happy to be here. Darts is my new favourite sport. I've gone off football and cricket for some reason.
That's strange.
I don't know why. So are you getting behind to me? You told me something. Yeah, exactly. But I fancy Benty to win it. He's been having lessons with Luke Littman. He's been practising. Him and Andy Golson have got no excuses. They put so much practice in. It's incredible. And it's an amazing production here. There's so many people. We've got more people here than Skylab at Ali Pally. Probably. It's unbelievable. You're probably right. We've got a fantastic master of ceremonies installment. Russ Gray, Russ at the moment. And Ian Dancer is going to bring you commentary at the World Championship. I want Russell to sing these songs at top weights. They're doing it proper. Okay, that'd be good. I'll put it. Yeah, okay, nice idea. So, this is Moortown Bell. It's just up St Catherine's Dock here at the town. I saw lots of tourists and it's a very imposing building. You know, it's also imagine going down the river. I mean, it'd make it worse when it's yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, I can arrange that, Andy. So, yes, I'm going to have a chat with our official scorer and our commentator, very, very short. The brilliant Ian Dante. Darsters on the radio. It's fantastic. So, let's we'll give the room, give some room to the boys. Just to let you know that you'll be able to watch this all unfold. TalkSport app, YouTube, or search TalkSport on your smart TV. Watch along this afternoon, as you said. Ian Danton, your commentator, is here. And Russ Gray, the voice, as it says there, on the top of his eye. It's amazing. Lovely to see you guys.
Yes, lovely to be back.
Russ, people don't see you at the Worlds now, but you are backstage, Ali Pally, and you're still involved in calling the darts around the world, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I'm hosting the VIP, so I'm holding the sessions every day of the tournament. And it's pretty much
yeah, I did say to you when you were in the studio on Monday, you gave us one of your trademark un-80s, and I said you wouldn't be doing that on Wednesday. It would be a shock, maybe, Benty, because you've got so much work in.
Well, a lot of them haven't.
No, you know what, I've just been told. I think Russ is going to have to invent new pronunciations. I bet he's going to call 28. Yeah. It's always a thing you do in dates where you kind of whisper it, but yeah, you have to say it like you're almost sorry. You know, the single digit one, I heard him call it 3. And it was almost sarcastic, the delivery. Well, we talk like it, so yeah, maybe another 26. 26. Yes, I'm now in 20s. I'm actually bed and breakfast. I'm in 26 million. So it's amazing how it works on reggae. I know lots of people watch YouTube. Choo-choo. Yeah, you're watching on the train. That's on the train on YouTube. Watch it any way you like. Yeah. It does work. We weren't sure because the first thing we did was the World Championships that Rob Cross won, which was 2018. Say at Ali Pally, that was our first darts on the radio. So it was very much in the dark as to how to approach it. But it's not about he throws the dart, he hits the ball, he throws the dart. It's the psychology of the sport and how it can affect players within a single visit is fascinating. And I have to say, key to it all has been Chris Mason and Paul Nicholson, our ex-PDC players up there.
He's an asset.
He is. Paul is an asset, and Chris is ace. I can't say enough great things about what they've done for the way that they convey what's going up on that stage, what's going through players' minds, how the game is affected, and how it's helped me and Mark Wilson and Chris Murphy and the other commentators that have never thrown a professional dart in their life, and just helps bring it across to the audience just how nuts it is in an environment like Ali Pally or Picking Up. You must have loved it up there, to be in the thick of it all the time over the years. Russ must be amazing. There are the great iconic games you've called.
And I've always, I've got the best seat in the house, and I literally stood alongside the guys. I've been very, very lucky to call some amazing games. 2007 World Championship, Taylor Marley, went to the Sutton Technique, you know what I mean? It's, that's special in itself, you know, and
Broke.
Sorry, broke the cards. It's amazing. Barry Hearn in the papers this morning talking about hoping that one day there'll be $100 million prize. That's the right idea.
Absolutely, and that happened, on his name, when he came in 2007, when he said, I'm going to smell the money, walked out the service, said, I'm going to smell the money. Tommy Cox, Nick Alex, had taken it as far as he could go. They were the first guys that brought it to the And then, of course, Barry then took over with his contacts and with his know-how. He's then took the game. Just, I mean, it's riding the crest of a wave. It's still riding it, and it hasn't splashed down. When does it stop? It's like it doesn't.
It went back to its spiritual home, because I remember at World of Sport years and years ago, when you'd see the Worlds at Ali Pally, like Leighton Reese, it was a lot less sophisticated than Alan Evans, players like that.
You will probably know that next year they are going to be using the Great Wall.
Yes, where it used to be played.
Which at the moment is the fans' village, but that's going to be converted into a live arena, so they're going to switch things around. Now, there's a lot of logistics to work out with that, because the doors from outside, you're straight into the hall, so they're going to have to sort out how they...
Just to get more people in.
Yeah, absolutely. So they can have 7,000-8,000 in for a session rather than 3.5, so they can double the attendance for each session.
They have no trouble selling the ticket.
Not a...
Sells out 3 or 4 times over easily.
But the thing is, you can't, you cannot get a ticket without the money.
Yeah.
And I'm on about months ago. People can't make on us. Can you get a ticket? I said, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Solely because, they just go.
Barry was saying that even if Prince William rings him up for a ticket, he's got to pay for it. Yeah, right. Surely not. Off a tout outside. No, they go really quickly. So you've been watching a few of the contestants warm up. Has anybody caught your eye?
Well,
yeah.
Literally, yeah. I mean, Dino, he's obviously looking good to make it through on the bounce, isn't he? But the other day, when I come and see you the other day, Penny in there with Andy Goldstein, I think they're going to struggle personally.
Oh, really? Even watch them practice.
Oh, yes.
There's a real distinction between those who haven't picked up a dart in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those who are ultra.
Well, Benji and Andy put the pressure on each other, haven't they?
Dean was here. I got here at 11:30. He was already here practicing.
Yeah.
First one here. He wants the 3-pick.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's brilliant, guys. Well, look, we're here from throughout the afternoon. And you, Russ, lovely to see you. Have fun. And we'll catch up with you later. So there we are. Russ Pro's going to be calling the event this afternoon. And of course, Ian Danter, your commentator. So stick around. We're going to be chatting to Dean Saunders and Jermaine Pennant. They're first off at 1:30. Just remind you can watch on YouTube, on Connect TV, PEI Radio throughout the afternoon. We're here with our very good friends at Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
Listeners, unite. TuneIn brings together your music, news, sports, and more. Whether you're music obsessed, stay in the know with top news, artists, countries, or want to stay in the game with up-to-the-minute sports. You can understand how the Atlanta Braves feel about it. There are people who feel that this is taking its all right here on TuneIn. Just sit back and listen.
Your Saturday nights will never be the same.
Biggest hits back-to-back in the mix. Get ready for the biggest mix show on the planet.
Tailgate Block Party. The Tailgate Block Party.
6 hours, non-stop.
The best DJs from around the world. The Tailgate Block Party.
Saturday night.
8 p.m. Eastern. Follow Tailgate Radio Official on Instagram to find out who is dropping the beats this weekend.
Search Tailgate Radio on TuneIn to listen. Yes. My word, our porridge is lovely. The state of it. Quaker. Deliciously real, deliciously bubbly. Sponsor of Team GB.
Ready to switch or play? Live Score Vegas is your go-to destination. Explore a huge selection of top-tier slots and live casino games. And for new players, there's a special welcome. Play £10 on slots and unlock 100 free spins on King Kong Cash. Even bigger bananas, Jackpot King. Step straight into the action and search Live Score Vegas today. New customers only. Waiting in 7 days of sign-up 10 pence spin value valid 3 days. T&Cs and deposit exclusions apply. 18 plus. Bet responsibly. Gambleaware.org.
Custom-built PCs and laptops. Just for gamers, right?
No, it's for creators like me. We need performance.
And designers, we need speed. Don't forget coders. We don't do off the shelf.
And yeah, gamers, but everybody knows that.
Whatever you need, configure your perfect PC or laptop with PC Specialist. Powered by Windows 11. A new world of gaming. For custom-built PCs or laptops, visit PC Specialist.
Okay, it happens in a moment. A driver cuts across, a bump, a claim, and suddenly it's your word against theirs. That's when the next phase dashcam steps in. Your witness recording every detail, every second, with total clarity. Nextbase protects you. Right now, get up to £100 off Nextbase dashcams, including the amazing IQ and UV code at nextbase.com, outlets, and other retailers. Nextbase dashcams. Protect every journey. Get unbeatable coverage of the business side of the beautiful game with Simon Jordan and Tesco Mobile for Business on TalkSport. From Southampton to the North Stand, West Ham to Easter Road, join the most well-connected man in football from an exclusive look inside the boardroom. This is a long way from Simon Jordan's business briefing on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Small business or side hustle, get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. For terms and verification, visit tescomobile.com/business. Subway. Ordinary sandwiches on the bench. You want the ultimate festive sub this Christmas. It's a guaranteed winner.
Teams away from Birmingham, the southbound end, 6 at Coles Hill Junction, 4 queuing following an earlier blockage partially. Southbound end 1, a lane closed on the offset to Nottingham and Derby Junction 25. Pretty slow going, there's a breakdown there. The southbound N5 offset to West Brom and Birmingham Junction 1, partially blocked on slow 2. And into London, the N4, Hayes and Heston Junction 3, a lane blocked on the offset there. There's a breakdown, and that's causing delays. I'm Jules Buckley.
Your confidence with a Wednesday night of Champions League football over Fox on class. Leverkusen versus Newcastle on TalkSport and Club Brugge versus Arsenal on TalkSport. Shady match commentary consultative with some who told us about live Champions League football The TalkSport Glass Trophy live with QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Yes, let's get an update on the TalkSport Darts Trophy. We're about to chat to the reigning champion. Has been leading my goals. There's only one yet. Dean Saunders.
2020, Dean Saunders, he was TalkSport 19. I mean, it was more than that.
Sure, again.
I remember. Yes.
It's a bit tight on Jermaine now because we didn't do the big. I know, it's like let's welcome back Dean Saunders and Jermaine. It's a bit harsh. Yeah, Jermaine, you've not picked up the dance since last year.
No, I haven't. And also, I was runner-up last year. And I didn't get no mention.
You've forgotten.
I know, right? What about this guy? Yes.
And he won man of the match in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Not many people have done that.
That's true, that's true. You can't live off past glories then, Dean. As I'm about to find out this afternoon.
As Salah said to Liverpool, I've done a lot for this club. Nothing but looking back.
What are you doing next? You're both looking very fetching in these. I think these are new, aren't they? Yes, yeah, the new TalkSport darts. On a slim fit for a dart shirt.
I'm trying to breathe in.
Tell me about it.
Look in. It's better now than when he played.
It's tremendous.
Played for me for a bit. Did you play, did he? Or did he start again?
No, I think at that time I was sent back to Stoke. Yeah, before our first game.
Yeah, oh dear. He got asked to go back when he knew you were coming in.
Exactly.
I can smell an upset, Andy. I just got Jermaine's going to do it. Dean's put the work in. The pressure's on him. Yeah, it's a difficult one first up. You know.
he's a talented dart player. And the only way I can lose this game is if my attitude's not right. And he plays above himself, and I play below myself. And then there could be an upset. So I'm going to try and avoid that. And if I get through this round,
Fine if Jermaine hadn't picked up the dart since last year. So your theory has slightly gone out the window.
No, I understand where it's coming from, but when, like, just here now, we've been at the board for a good 20 minutes trying to hone in on some foot.
You're asking for trouble.
well, I think when we all looked at the incident, you can see Birch has gone, oh, he's pulled my shirt, I'm going over. But Sony's stupid enough to pull someone's shirt in a box. And then they played a narrow midfield, and they sort of conceded a bit of possession and played for a draw, really, and got the win at the end, clean sheet.
What did you make of it, Jermaine?
What? Made a contact, so I'm not really saw that. So I would like to see more pressing from the front. With the front players, that's 5 rather than just 3. But apart from all, yeah, a clean sheet, away to Inter Milan, tough place to go, so that's 0. You've got to say it's a good start for this abysmal little period that